We want to welcome you back to our Stitch in Time series. We're in 2 Peter chapter 1. We're going to be reading from verse 5. It says, "But also for this very reason, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge." And then goes on kind of a checklist of some of the things that we are to add into our Christian life. We only have time to really touch on the first one today. But I just want to kind of give you a background before we get into this verse. Peter is writing to the church and he's saying God has supplied in Christ these great promises to give us everything we need for life and godliness. So there's a tremendous supply coming from God. And then Peter is saying, besides this, or in light of this, or for this very reason that you have what you need for life, now it's up to you to do your part. And so this is the word giving all diligence. The word giving has the idea, now supply your side. Bring your side into play with this. Now it's your part. God has done his part. Now your part is to supply all diligence. And the word diligence means to be earnest, to be zealous, to hasten, to do quickly. In light of what God has done for you, don't relax, but instead be energetic and enthusiastic to add your component to this life. There's the God side of this life, there's the your side of this life. And if you don't do your part, you won't benefit from everything that God has done for you in Christ. And so here the idea is have this zeal to add to your faith virtue. Now, the word add here is kind of an interesting word. Some would say it's not, a best translation of the word. The history of the word is to supply a chorus, and had the idea of someone that would be given the community obligation to provide for all the training and materials needed for a chorus of singers. And so the idea was, there are other things now, and now you've got to supply them. It's up to you now to put your part in and supply what's necessary for you to benefit. As the verses go on to say, this will keep you from being barren and unfruitful in Christ Jesus, and will give you an abundant entrance into his kingdom. And so God is saying, now I'm giving you this. Now exercise some energy to add to your faith, which has opened the door, which is the foundation of the Christian life. Add to your faith virtue. Now, this word virtue is not the word that's being used like when virtue went out of Jesus into the woman with the issue of blood, meaning power, dunamis. It's actually the word which some translations, some Greek translations would tell us this is the word for manliness or moral excellence. And so what Peter is writing, you can get Peter involved stuff. What Peter is writing is to say, now be diligent, have an earnestness with this Christian life to supply moral excellence, moral courage, manliness. I like that, because it says, that to be manly is to be morally excellent in God's eyes. And, the world has such a way of, attributing manliness to maybe, having a multitude of girlfriends or something in societies like Botswana. God is saying moral excellence is to be manly. And so he's saying being earnest to supply moral excellence to your Christian framework and foundation of your faith. Add this in so that you can fulfill your journey and not be barren or unfruitful in Christ. Sometimes people in the Christian life have let moral excellence dissipate from their life, and their life has entered into a season of fruitlessness or barrenness. And for sure they may be even forfeiting kingdom entrance in the future by not adding this component to their Christian life. This would be one of the good things to say, I'm going to be earnest that I'm going to develop in moral excellence. I'm going to let God supply me with the godliness supply, the grace to live godly life. I'm going to be diligent to do my part, because there's a God part and there's a man part. And so Peter is writing to us and he's saying, now supply this in together. Do your part. Make moral excellence, manliness, virtue something that you add very early on in your Christian life. And so just in taking this stitch of time, maybe there have been things that you've let creep in to eat at the fabric of your moral excellence. Ask God to forgive you, and ask God, God, supply the grace so that I can live a moral life. I want to be earnest about this. I want to be zealous about this. I want to supply what is lacking and allow you to be everything that you want to be in my life. May God richly bless you. We look forward to being with you as we discover some other principles in A Stitch in Time.